Ooh, first one, boom. Early access to Dutch cruisers. Combat missions, interface update, and other news. Update 0.10.6 kicks off an event that places Dutch tier 4 to 9 cruisers right in spotlight. Oh, it's early access again. Of course it is. Port of Rotterdam. Looks pretty interesting, I guess. New port. A port that actually has color? Yeah, true. That's actually true. I do like the way you can kind of see into the distance in this one. Where are the ships going to be in that port? That's what I'm wondering as well. They don't really show where the ships are going to be. A lot of cinematic pictures of the port, but no picture of a ship in the port, which is what I'm quite curious about. Do we have more ports than maps now? It's possible. It's still been Valerian. This is quite early for me. 7 a.m. Well, that is well, not that good way to start the day. Seeing what kind of stuff Wargaming has been up to. Dutch Navy permanent camo for tier 7 and 10 Dutch cruisers. Well, it certainly looks Dutch. I'll give him that. Certainly looks Dutch. I'll give him that. It's not too over the top. Honestly, I kind of like it. I kind of like it. It's not too over the top, but it's still like it does have the orange. I don't mind it. I actually think they're pretty okay. I'm not sure about the superstructure things. This looks a bit iffy. All of this, but I do like the simple stripe and the bow ornament. I'm not sure about it being a ribbon like this though. This is a bit questionable. Goodenloo. Flying Dutchman expendable camo. Holy shit. Okay, see, that's a bit over the top. See, that's a bit over the top. That is actually pretty damn ugly. That kind of looks like a kid who's gone ham with you. Like when you let the kid paint his own room, that's what it ends up looking like. I'm not sure I like that one. Thematic emblems of the Netherlands nation: Kinderdik, Mill Patch, and Dutch cruisers commemorate the flag. Okay. That looks very much... Well, I guess the lion is very popular. It looks quite like the Finnish lion, the Swedish lion, but I guess a lot of them used lions as their emblems, so it was kind of a thing. Okay, Dutch flag. Windmill? Wow, really? Oh, wow, really? Now they're just taking the piss. What is this, tulip field and a windmill or something? Just missing the wooden clogs, right? Event Commander Pasha Dashaperova for Dutch ships. Unique Dutch Commander Michiel de Ruiter with the following enhanced skills. Alexander Beshensky, thank you for the first true. For destroyers, cruisers, and battleships. Pyro Technician. Chances of main battery HE shells causing a fire on target 1.5% instead of the standard 1%. For cruisers and battleships, expert AA marksman priority sector instead of Thana. I mean, this might be pretty okay when you consider that the Dutch cruisers have insane AA. Priority sector is a percentage-based boost on values that are already incredibly high. This might actually be okay. This might be pretty interesting because you got to remember Dutch AA, Dutch continuous damage is completely absurd. Like they have insane values, like 700 mid-range DPS on one of the ships. So plus 35% to 700 is quite a lot. It's quite a lot. It's multiplicative boost though. Yeah, it doesn't really work the way you'd think it worked, but still, it's gonna be quite interesting. Archangel Nate, thank you for the 50 months. Good lord, that is a long ass time. As for this one, Pyrotechnician, I guess if you take the Dutch Friesland, this one might be interesting. Because for DDs, a 0.5% is actually quite a lot because you spam so many shells with low fire chance. I don't know, it's still a bit... Yeah, it's... What was the call of the Friesland clone? Interesting. Dasha and... Well, he certainly looks very regal. Interesting. With the release of update 0.10.6, Dutch cruiser will start battles with the airstrike armament on cooldown. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why they started it with it already loaded. It was always a bit weird to me. Just as with the main battery and torp tubes. Updated combat mission interface that's why you could, right at the start when someone is spotted, you could drop like triple strike on them. That's what happened in the video I made. The Alaska got spotted, instantly got triple dropped and smashed. Updated combat mission interface. In update 0.10.6 there will be a new type of combat mission with the ability to choose one of two rewards. If you don't choose either of them, the first one will automatically be granted when the mission expires. Okay. That's nothing wrong with that. Giving players more choice is something I'm okay with. The combat missions interface visually identifies the highest priority and most important tasks. First and foremost, chains of combat missions. Okay. From 0.10.6 there are 2 3 versus 3 brawls. Tier 7 and Tier 6. Okay. Tier 7 brawl. Interesting. 3 versus 3 in Tier 7. So what are you gonna run? Hide a Belfast Synop? Might be interesting. Gneisenau might actually be pretty okay in small scale. Because it's brawling. The smaller it is, the stronger Gneisenau would actually be. Scharnhorst's complete lack of overmatch is a bit for me. It makes it so limited. Details about the brawls will be announced. As for tier 6 ships, T61 obviously, if you're gonna play a DD. Why would you play anything else? What else? West Virginia? I don't know. You might want something like Bayern for the tankiness. Ise is pretty junk, actually. I don't think people will play Ise. Graf Spee might be quite popular once again for the tankiness. Honestly, you could run a full Kriegsmarine division. T61, well, it's more technically a Dutch ship, but in this it's German. T61 Spee Bayern. You gotta remember, Bayern is actually very well armored for a tier 6 battleship. It's actually really well armored. Like, I love Warspite and I love Warspite guns, but Warspite is squishy as hell. It's really squishy. Gonna be interesting. Of course, there is a chance that people are gonna ruin all the fun and there's gonna be people playing CVs. Very likely. But I'm not sure. I guess tier 6 CV is still gonna be a pain in the ass though. No one has any AA. Ismail? I don't know about Ismail. I feel Ismail is so vulnerable to just being pushed. Ismail is pretty fast though, but the problem is Ismail's armor, broadside armor is like huge citadel. Levenhart? Yeah. I guess we could see Levenhart Bayern T61. A lot of German options. Crazy. But on the other hand, you could go Leander, which is also really good. Leander as a ship just brings so much utility. Perf is as well. Perf is tier 6, isn't it? Yeah, Perf could be really strong. Interesting. There's some interesting options there. A lot of premium options, of course. Funny that. Bot changes. Bots can now change speed to dodge torpedoes. Oh my god. Co-op players in shambles. Co-op players in shambles. They are now better than the average World Warships player. Bots are now officially better than the average World Warships player. Because bots never made a forum post about torpedoes being overpowered after they sailed in a straight line. Added permanent camouflage flitting for Summers. I actually kind of like it. I really like the color scheme. I actually kind of like it. It's ugly. I think this one is gonna be a real like divider. Some people are probably gonna hate it, but I kind of like it. I like the theme, the color selection a lot. That looks dope. That is terrible. Yeah, that's exactly what the kind of reactions I expect. Either complete hate or like or hate. But interesting that they're adding a perma camo for the Summers, considering Summers was removed in 10.2. I think it was removed in 10.2, and they're adding a perma camo for it. Dude, does that mean that it might be returning? Interesting. Grigio Azzurro Chiaro for Napoli. Okay. That's a lot of name for not a lot of camo. With the name like this, I was expecting something real spicy, but yeah, that was a bit of a letdown. that was a bit of a letdown. Interesting. Debated name, right? Added distant journeys container. Oh shit. Oh, it looks. I kind of like this. It looks like a luggage container. Added 4 commemorative flags: the Belgian Navy flag, Glory to the Navy, Argentina Independence Day, and Colombia Independence Day. That's pretty cool. Added patches: Glory to the Navy and Swiss National Day. So this one is probably Glory to the Navy, and this one is Swiss National Day, right, Chad? Seems about right. I guess these are supposed to be the other way around. Okay, what else do we have? The methods of obtaining these items will be announced later. In honor of the Day of the Russian Navy, the port of St. Petersburg has been decorated. Oh, that's pretty nice. Is that like, that's Catherine's, what is it called? Catherine's Palace? Shit, what is it called? The Catherine, yeah, it's her, shit, what is it called? I don't remember the name. Winter Palace, that's what it's called, yeah. Catherine the Great's palace. That's pretty cool. Oh, look at that. Fireworks, also called anti-air by Wargaming, but in this case, I guess they're going for the other version of the fireworks. Pretty cool. Oh, more anti-air. That's cool. Please note that all information is preliminary. Oh, absolutely will. And then we have the other devblog. And this one is certainly going to be interesting. Super Test 0.10.6. New ships. American Tier 9 battleship Kearsarge. How do you pronounce that? Kearsarge? 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 How the shit do you pronounce that? Kearsarge. Kearsarge? Kearsarge. Okay. Where does the R into... Really, it's Kearsarge? But where's the R? There's no R here. Kearsarge. Is it kind of like Colonel that doesn't have any R's in it, but you still add a Colonel? Kearsarge. It's misspelled? Is it? I don't even know. Kearsarge. Okay. They misspelled. Wait, did they really? Let me Google. What is Kearsarge? Oh, USS Kearsarge, a Mohican-class sloop of war. Oh, so they okay. So it's there is an R there. Just Wargaming just forgot about it. Okay, Kearsarge. Fair enough. Interesting. So this is just typoed. Okay, off to a great start. Fair enough. Where is it?
Off to a great start.
Tier 8 cruiser Rochester. Okay, how do you pronounce? Once again, with American, you never know. I make fun of English, but honestly, it's kind of frustrating because Rochester? Rochester? Rooster? Roster? Like, you never know. You never know. The spelling doesn't give you any hints. The spelling literally doesn't tell you because it's English. It's like you're guessing. Let's hope it's this one. Rochester? Rochester. Rochester? Rochester. Okay, Rochester. Fair enough. So we got Kearsarge and Rochester. And French Tier 9 cruiser Carnot. Okay, is it Carnot or is it something like Carnot? Carnot. 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 Oh, with the French on the other hand, they add an R, but then they don't pronounce it, so it might be like Canoe. Carno. Canoe? T is not spoken. Carno. Skip T. Carno. 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 Okay, I'll go Carno. Okay, so we have Kearsarge, Rochester, and Carnot have been added to the game for testing. We did it! We cleared the first sentence. Let's go. Why use letters when you don't like? I don't understand. This is why I love Finnish. If the letter is there, the letter is pronounced. That's how Finnish works. If there's any letter in there, you pronounce every single goddamn letter because that's how languages work. But then you get to English and you get to French and they're just like randomly adding letters for shits and giggles and they're randomly removing letters for shits and giggles and it has nothing to do with how it's written. It makes no goddamn sense. Please note that all information in the development blog is preliminary. Announced adjustments and features may change multiple times during testing. The final information will be published on our game's website. Fair enough. American Battleship Kearsarge, Tier 9. A unique design. A unique design for a powerful battleship hybrid. Developed in the United States in the second half of the 1930s. I must have forgotten about it. Kearsarge is armed with a Big Boss Lyra. Yes, that sounds like a logical language. Fred Rush, MD, thank you for the 11 as well. Yeah. Kearsarge is armed with 12 406mm guns in 4 turrets. So Montana gunpowder, or Minnesota these days, or Kansas. The battleship has a good firing range and a large amount of HP. According to the original concept, the ship is armed with a squadron of attack aircraft, which is armed with tiny thin rockets, has a good amount of HP, a high chance of causing fire, and good armor penetration. Okay, so the attack aircraft have these features. The best tactic on Kearsarge is to play at medium range because of her high salvo weight and good concealment. Good lord, that is ugly. Wait, like, so you got 2 turrets here, and then you got like 2 turrets back here, and then you got the flight deck on the center of the ship. Like, good lord, is that a tumor? I mean, close enough. Random Gamer, yeah, I heard about it. Apparently this is some paper ship that the Soviets commissioned the Americans to create, but no one was actually gonna, like, really create it. It was more like can you design this thing for shits and giggles? It's basically a Russian fantasy ship, but with an American flag. But someone asked if this is a tumor. I mean, considering it is CVs, more planes being added to World of Warships, I would say yes, that is a cancerous growth. I would agree. I think everyone can agree on that one. More planes in World of Warships. Yep. We need chemo ASAP. It's malignant. It is malignant. Fair enough. Okay. American cruiser Rochester. An Oregon City class heavy cruiser. Oregon City class was like it was designed after World War II. I'm pretty sure it was like 40 something to 70s. Is it which differs from her immediate predecessors, the Baltimore class, by her more advanced air defenses. The cruiser is armed with 9 203mm guns in 3 turrets with powerful AP shells. The Rochester has good concealment and is packed with equipment. Surveillance radar, surprise, hydroacoustic search, defensive AFR are available in different slots. However, her consumables have a reduced number of charges relative to her classmates. Pronounce Oregon? Oregon. Whatever. The Rochester will be most effective in the battle for key areas with allied support, and thanks to her high salvo weight and improved ricochet angles, she can effectively deal damage to enemy cruisers and battleships at medium range. That looks a lot like the Baltimore, doesn't it? That looks like really a lot like the Baltimore. Just, is it lower? It's like Baltimore with a weird superstructure. French cruiser Carnot. Tier 9. One of the designs of a super heavy cruiser that preceded the Dunkirk class battleships. The Carnot is armed with 10 305mm guns in 3 turrets. The ship stands out for her good survivability, nice ballistics, and high cruising speed. She is equipped with a solid selection of consumables, the choice between hydroacoustic search or defensive AFR. Very tough choice, considering how effective defensive AFR is in World of Warships, in one slot, and fighter, spotting aircraft, or engine boost in another. Well, if it's a French ship, you're probably going to run engine boost. I mean, depends on how shit the range is, but probably. The ship is designed for long-range combat, and if necessary, can quickly change flank or take an advantageous position for firing. Whoa. Those turrets look really out of place on this super... Wait, why is the heavier turret on top? That's a 4-gun turret. 10 305mm guns, so it's 3, 4, 3. But why is the heavier turret on top again? Why do they keep doing this? The only reason the heavier turret on top is on top on the Pensacola is because of the narrow hull. On any other ship, you want the heavier turret not super firing, for obvious reasons, because you don't want the ship to be top heavy or there's a roll risk. And holy shit. I guess we know where all that Soviet broadside went. I think you can stack like 4 Petropavlovsk on top here. And you get 1 Carnot. Has like 5 Petros at freeboard. Yeah, basically. This is where all the Soviet freeboard went. Connecticut has been added to test the combat effectiveness of US battleships in close combat. The ship is a Vermont counterpart with reinforced plating and lightweight shells with higher velocity but lower damage. Like, keep in mind that... So Wargaming are going to try to make Vermont a brawler. Vermont, a brawler. The ship is round. You can't angle anywhere. The early version of Vermont, they gave it 32mm plating. And the ship basically imploded instantly. And then they were like, oh Jesus, we have to give it 57mm of plating or it's just going to explode. So, and now they're going to try to make it a brawler. I mean... I don't know what you're supposed to brawl in it. Like bastion forts. 40-second reload brawler. That moves at the speed of a of an iceberg in a current? Why Vermont of all ships? I have no idea. Like it can brawl into a big into a McDonald's, and it can brawl its way out. I'm not sure if it can brawl its way out of there. I don't get it. Maybe it can brawl submarines or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, I have no faith. This is the same. This is the same guys that thought Deadeye was a good idea, and the same guys that added CVs into Super Battleship game mode. When you Ojum, thank you for the 17. Like I don't know. I wish them good luck. Kearsarge. Oh, it's correctly spelled here. American Battleship Kearsarge. It's correctly spelled here, but nowhere else in the entire article. Interesting. 84.3k health. How much is Iowa health? 79? Iowa health is 79, right? So it's got 5k more health than the Iowa. Still 32mm plating. 406mm guns, firing range almost 20 kilometers. Looks like standard HE. 701 meter per second AP. That's North Carolina. That's North Carolina shell velocity. But 13.1k alpha. Wait, what's Minnesota alpha? Hold on. Wait. What's Minnesota alpha? Isn't that like better than Minnesota and let's see. Minnesota is they nerfed the alpha on it. Yeah, it's 12.8 and the reload is 40 seconds. That one had reload 36 and the alpha is 13.1. So it's 10-second better reload and better alpha. That's pretty yikes. I mean, this one has more range, sure, but Jesus. Is it Iowa shells? I mean, is it Iowa alpha? It's not gonna be Iowa shell velocity. No, it's kind of it's NC shells. It's guaranteed NC shells. Yeah, 13.1 and 701. It's NC shells. It's shooting NC shells. It's identical values. Interesting. Okay. So it shoots NC shells, 10-second faster reload than Minnesota. Keep in mind that are NC shells better than Minnesota shells? I remember Minnesota had really junk pen. They buffed it a bit, but did they buff it enough to compete? So, wait. Actually, let me check. I'm curious. USA, Battleship, Minnesota, North Carolina. I think they buffed it. Oh, it's... wow. NC has better pen at range. So it has better pen at range as well. And better reload. And better alpha. Okay. Okay, interesting. Sigma 1.9. Isn't Minnesota Sigma 1.8? It was 1.7, then they buffed it to 1.8. So the guns are in every possible way better already. Except shell velocity. Interesting. Secondary armament. With this kind of not much to talk about. Continuous, mid-range. Not really too... Whoa! 10 flak! 10 flak! Holy shit, that's a lot of flak. 10 flak? What the hell? Isn't it? Montana gets what? That's a lot of flak. That is actually really a lot of flak. Hello? Iowa gets like 8. I think Montana also gets 8, doesn't it? Yeah, Montana gets 8. Jesus. That's a lot of flak. Minnesota gets 6. Wow. Okay. 10 flak. So it's better than all the other American tier 10s in terms of flak. I mean, continuous damage isn't that impressive, and it is poor hit probability, but there's still a lot of flak to throw up. Maximum speed 30 knots. Minnesota goes Minnesota goes what? 23? So this thing is, it handles like shit though. Actually, not that shit. This rudder shift isn't that bad. Tier 10s have, like, Montana has like 22 seconds or something. Turning circle shit, but it's got really good speed. Surface detect 16.9. 16.9 times 0.9, 0.0. 13.3 km surface conceal. That's not too bad. And it has planes as well. 176 knot planes. That it can use to spot DDs, it can use to get information, it can strike ships disengaging. They're midway rocket planes. Jesus! How is this? What? Huh. Jesus. Wow. Okay. The only downside I see is slow shell velocity, but I mean if you played and see it, then that's not a problem. 19.6 with no spotter, but with 13.3 km conceal, that shouldn't really be much of an issue. And it looks very tanky for 8.4k, or sorry, 84k health and 32mm plating. Like, yeah, you can slot range on it. True, that's true, Nato. You can. It's American BB. You can slot 16% range if you want. So you can buff the range to 12, almost 23 kilometers. Interesting. That thing looks very power creepy, and also it's a hybrid. I guess Wargaming listened to all the complaints about planes and how people didn't want more planes and how people hated planes and how people like tier 9 matchmaking so you could avoid planes, and then they decided let's add some more planes to tier 9 where people can't avoid them anymore. I don't know. At this point I'm just convinced they fucking hate their player base. Like that's the only thing that makes sense. They actually just hate their player base and they're trying to fuck them over. I guess Ise sold really well even though people hated Ise. Because people were parking their Ise next to the CV and sitting in the back just sending planes like idiots. And they sold a lot of them, so now they're like, hey, let's add more. Rochester, 41.9. That seems pretty standard. 27mm plating, standard fires. 3x203, 15.9. Improved AP angles, they said. Reload 11.5. 11.5. Isn't that pretty that sounds what? That sounds really bad actually. What? Hold on. Baltimore is 10 second. Yeah. Baltimore is 10 second. So that thing is 11.5. Yikes. That's with same guns, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's same guns. It's Baltimore subclass. That's not very good. That's a big DPM nerf. Does it have any consumables? Damage control? Defensive AA? Okay, it can slot defensive and hydro. Yay. Radar? 25. 9 kilometers. Baltimore has 10 km. Baltimore has 10 km radar. So, you know, a while back Wargaming made this big deal about how they were going to unify the radar values to make it simpler so that everyone gets the same like radar value. That's why they nerfed booster radar. So because light cruisers needed to have 9 km radar and heavy cruisers needed to have 10 km radar. The exception being of course Soviet heavy cruisers that had to have 12 km radar because clearly the Soviet had the most advanced radar technology of World War II. So that makes perfect sense. But then they started doing shit like Wichita, which is suddenly 9 km, and now suddenly this Rochester is 9 km, and like doesn't make him. I don't understand. He gets defensive A and hydro. That's like the gimmick by the looks of it. Continues. The AA values are basically Baltimore. The only difference is you get defensive and hydro. That's the gimmick. You get defensive and hydro at the same time. That's the gimmick. At the cost of worse radar, 1k worse radar, and 1.5 second reload. That sounds like a really shit trade. 12 kms, 12.1 km detection. That leads to 9.5 conceal. Baltimore is 9.9. So 400 meters better conceal. Still not stealth radar though. Baltimore can stealth radar. Looks like a pretty junk trade. Oh, and it gets less of them, didn't it? Charges 2. Yeah, it gets less consumables as well. Huh. Yeah, no, this so far this thing is a pass. Like, this is just a why buy this when you can play Baltimore? But to give it 4 defensive AAs, don't worry guys, you get 4 defensive AAs. So you can do your fireworks show 4 times. That's amazing. You can celebrate 4th of July, New Year's, 1st of May, and Midsummer, or even Halloween. Like, you get 4 charges. Let's go. Perfect. French cruiser Carnot. Cry Havoc, thank for 29. 66.5k health. 25mm plating. Okay, 60-second. Yeah, so super cruiser. This is a typo. It's supposed to be 10x. Dude, does anyone actually proofread this shit before they post it? Firing range 90. 4-50 HE shell. 51mm pen. Okay. 25% fire chance. That's pretty low for these high caliber shells. It's correct though. I mean, it should be just 10 305mm guns, or it should be 1x4, 2x3, 305. But they kind of just, I don't know, they kind of skipped. I don't know what they went with this. This is 1x4. The 3 gun turrets are down. Where down? Oh wait, oh yeah, you're right. But it's the same guns with the same values. Is it identical value? Oh, you're right. It's the exact same values. Why have they separated them by turrets? That makes no sense. It's the same guns. I mean, it could be just main battery 1x4 305 and 2x3 305 and then all of this, but whatever. AP shell velocity seems okay. HE shell velocity seems quite good actually. If the air drag isn't too bad, it might be quite effective as a long range farmer. 8k in secondaries. Interesting. 8k in base secondaries. What? That's quite long. AA values, junk. Pretty okay, but junk. 6 flak. That's not gonna be enough. Okay, maximum speed 34.5. That's pretty good. 34.5. With speed flag, that's 37. Was speed flag 8%? No, speed flag was 5%. Shit. Speed boost was normally. So it's 36.2 with speed flag. Wait, if it's a normal speed boost, then we get 39 knots. We get 39 knots if it's a normal speed boost and a speed flag. Interesting. If it's a French speed boost though, then we get like a 20% French speed boost. Then it does 43.5 knots. It's probably going to be a French speed boost, yeah. Then it does 33.5. 15% is only Bourgogne. The rest get 20. Yeah, it's a bit confusing. They use different speed boosts. So it might, if it's that, then it does 43.5, which is really fast for a super cruiser. Damage control, hydro, defensive, fighter spotting, engine boost. If it's 20% the engine boost, that's what everyone is going to choose. If it's 8%, probably still what people are going to choose. And repair. Interesting. 24-second reload though. That's important actually. 24-second reload time 24. Holy shit. That's a really long reload. If you're hoping to burn ships to death, 25% fire chance and 24-second reload, that's not going to be very effective. I mean, it might be good against super cruisers because of the pen and their vulnerability to fires now, but this has so much freeboard though. Interesting. Then we'll need to add a reload booster to that 24. I don't know, we'll have to see, because it's going to be very fast. A super cruiser that's hard to hit, that's pretty new, because most of the super cruisers in the game are very easy to farm. Aegir, Siegfried, Azuma, Yoshino, Alaska, Stalingrad, like all of these super cruisers are actually pretty easy to slap. Usually they survive thanks to armor and tankiness, armor and general health. But if this is one that has maneuverability as well, which is what they're normally missing, and it's going to be hard to hit, then it can be pretty frustrating to deal with already. Surface detect 15.3. 15.3, let's see. What's that conceal? 12 on a super cruiser. 12. Interesting. You might go Lighthouse Carrot. Yeah, I don't know what you might. Just because the reload. Honestly, you might just build full reload too, because this is pretty oof. Percentage-based bonuses on a reload this large are going to be significant bonuses. Interesting. We'll see. We'll see how it plays. 870 meter rudder shift 14.4. 14.4. The question is, can you accelerate joking it? That's if you get speed boost and you run prop mod, that's really what you're going to be looking for. Acceleration mod, acceleration jukes at range. We'll see. Good lord, this thing is ugly though. Kearsarge. Oh, it's written correctly here as well, Kearsarge. Wait, they literally had a picture to cheat from, and they still fucked it up 1, 2, 3, 4 times. That's impressive. Interesting. Interesting as always. How many premiums are in development now? There's so many premiums in development. And it's once again, it's been daily reminder. It's been how long since we had a new map? Like when did I make this tweet, Chen? How long has it been? This was May, a month ago, a bit more than a month ago. It's been 16 months since we had a new map, 271 days since we got the last legendary unique upgrade, 537 days since the oldest ship without unique upgrade, Venezia, was released. At the moment there are at least 12 new, well now more premium ships here. And none of these things have been changed, but now we have more premium ships being tested for release. Yeah. No money in maps and operations. Yeah, that's kind of the point. You can't monetize maps, so they kind of just stopped releasing them. Instead, they're making the underwater world, which so far has honestly been pretty damn ugly. I've seen some pictures of the underwater world, and the quality looks junk, and like it looks really half-assed, and it's pretty poorly implemented as well, with people grounding left, right, and center. So,